can start. My network was very low.
No problem. Prabhuji, once Mangalacharan is there, could you please record it because some devotees request I offline, so that would help.
Prabhuji, we started the recording, Prabhuji.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथां वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदां सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखा वितांश नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय और हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण all the dear devotees. So today the topic is mind the mind. So mind the mind, and this is again a very important point in our bhakti life, that one of the challenges which we face in our devotional life is that how we can focus in our bhakti. Even if we are doing 16 rounds of chanting or 32 rounds of chanting, still we say that our mind is not focused. And you can relate with the material example also, that in our childhood, our parents used to give us so much every time this instruction कि बेटा मन लगा के पढ़ाई करो, बेटा पढ़ाई करो नहीं बोलते, मन लगा के पढ़ाई करो. So in our material life also it was like focus with mind and study. And Krishna भी भागवत गीता में क्या बोलते हैं, मन मना मद भक्तो. So he says that अपना मन मुझ में लगाओ, मेरे पास आओ बोलते हैं 18.66 में, लेकिन ये बोलते हैं कि अपना मन मुझ में लगाओ. मन लगाना जरूरी है. माइंड फोकस इज इंपॉर्टेंट. So before we ask ourselves that how to engage our mind in devotion, we should ask that why we should engage our mind in devotion. करना क्यों? In the business world also, there is a famous golden circle example कि जब भी हम कुछ चीज शुरू करते हैं तो सवाल इससे नहीं होना चाहिए कि what, how and then why. सवाल ऐसे होना चाहिए कि पहले why, क्यों कर रहे हैं, and what, क्या कर रहे हैं, and then how, कैसे कर सकते हैं. So how we can focus our mind on bhakti and why we can focus our mind on bhakti. So how से ज्यादा why important, कि क्यों करना है. And are we not capable to focus? Well, it's up to us that if we want to focus or not focus, because हमें मालता तो है, we have the capability to focus. Early morning, for example, we have flight. Usually some of us catch flight around 6 o'clock morning, then we have to wake up at 3:30 morning. And when we have to do that, the focus, the attention, the hard work, everything starts falling in place because there is a goal. that we have to catch the flight. Similarly, we have to early morning get up and do japa. It's like a flight catching emergency. अगर सुबह ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में जपा नहीं किए तो फिर फ्लाइट छूट गया, यानी उस दिन जपा की क्वालिटी खराब हो गई, गिर जाएगी. बिकॉज इट्स गारंटीड दैट if we are not doing in morning and do any time of the day or evening or night, our japa quality, it becomes like a formality. तो हमें सिंगल माइंडेड अटेंशन के साथ सुबह उठना होता है कि नींद पूरी करके सुबह उठ के जपा करना ही. So Prabhupada says that if our mind is not focused on bhakti, then it is not bhakti. If our mind is not focused on bhakti, it is not bhakti. If we are not conscious in our bhakti, then we are not doing bhakti. जैसे हम लोग बात बात में ही बोल देते हैं कि तन मन धन लगा के काम करना है ना. तन मन धन, तन लगा देते हैं, धन भी लगा देते हैं, लेकिन मन नहीं लगाते. जब अपने मटेरियल लाइफ में वी स्पीक दैट तन मन धन लगा के काम करना है, इन स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ ऑल्सो तन, दैट इज थ्रू बॉडी वी शुड डू द डिवोशनल सर्विस. धन, दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन आवर कैपेबिलिटी, वी शुड गिव डोनेशन फॉर द कृष्णा कॉन्शियस मूवमेंट. एंड मन, मन से करना है. एंड ऑफ ऑल द थ्री द मन इज द मोस्ट चैलेंजिंग पार्ट. तन लग जाता है, धन भी लग जाता है, लेकिन मन नहीं लगता. And if we are not conscious in our bhakti, then there is a high chance that we will fall down. We will fall down. One of the senior disciples' statement I was hearing, and it's a very impactful statement, I'm repeating. It says that the biggest violence is doing भक्ति विथ रॉन्ग कॉन्शियसनेस. किसी ने किसी को मार दिया, जो इस संसार में इतना अत्याचार होता है, उससे भी कहीं ज्यादा बिगेस्ट वायलेंस है कि हम भक्ति रॉन्ग कॉन्शियसनेस के साथ कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज वो अंदर की बात है, इट्स फ्रॉम इनसाइड. सच अ हेवी स्टेटमेंट. एंड इफ आवर माइंड इज नॉट फोकसिंग while doing bhakti, then what happens? Ritualistic tendency creeps in. What creeps in? Ritualistic tendency creeps in. And we start seeing the symptoms in our bhakti. Sometimes when we are doing japa, we don't realize also कि हमने कितने rounds कर लिए, या हमने कुछ माला skip कर दी, क्योंकि हम एक ritual follow कर रहे हैं. So if the mind is not focused on the goal, then our bhakti becomes goal. है ना? उसका ना कोई और हो मिलेगा, ना छोर मिलेगा, भक्ति गोल होके रह जाएगी. So it's very important that the mind has to focus on bhakti. And that is where the purpose is very important. The lack of purpose is the beginning of fall down, is the beginning of the problem. Sentimentalism में भक्ति किए जा रहे हैं. For example, that most of us must have gone through this when we come to Krishna consciousness, when we are very rich and we have all the things in our hand and there is no pain in life. It's very rare that the souls come in bhakti, है ना? लेकिन जब हम दर्द से गुजरते हैं, दुनिया से हारे होते हैं, we try to find goodness with sustainability everywhere and we don't find it. And then we think that, Krishna conscious is the way to go. But there could be different reasons to come to bhakti, but it's not sustainable. Because it's sentimentalism. कि मेरे रिलेटिव ने मेरे साथ अत्याचार कर दिया, धोखा दे दिया, इसलिए मैं भक्ति में आ गया। मेरे माता पिता दुनिया से चले गए, मेरा सपोर्ट सिस्टम नहीं है, hence I came to bhakti. All these are the trigger points, but this cannot be the reason to sustain bhakti throughout our life. And that is also true that if pain was the cause by which we remembered Krishna and came to Krishna consciousness, that's where Kunti Maharani says that भगवान आप मुझे दर्द देते रहिए, वो लाक्षाग्रह फिर से क्रिएट कीजिए एपिसोड, आप मुझे दर्द देते रहिए ताकि मैं आपको याद कर सकूं. And isn't that interesting that most of us also, because of pain, we remembered Krishna when we came to Krishna consciousness. And then when we are in Krishna consciousness, we want to pray that we don't get pain. Health अच्छा बना रहे, नौकरी लगी रहे, ताकि मैं Krishna conscious कर सकूं. So it becomes contradictory, and it's not, of course, easy. Kunti Maharani is Kunti Maharani. We cannot ask that way because Krishna also knows that किनकी कितनी elasticity है, breakdown point क्या है. Because Krishna also knows कि he wants everybody to come back to him, है ना? ऐसा नहीं है कि, and obviously each of us have our own elasticity. Breakdown हो जाए, if we go away from Krishna consciousness, ये भगवान को मंजूर नहीं है. तो भगवान भी उतना ही टेस्ट करेंगे जितना में हमारा प्रोग्रेस हो सके. But catch is, are we alert and aware? Do we have a purpose in life? और बस ऐसे ही किए जा रहे हैं. और imagine that वो दर्द चला गया. We 5 years, 10 years हो गए, we got over that pain. पेरेंट्स अभी नहीं है दुनिया में, लेकिन 2 मिनट के लिए दुख होता है, but I have found a way to live. Now the pain is sort of diluted. So then what? So if our philosophy is not strong, and if we are not in the association of strong, pure devotees, then naturally our fall down chance is huge. So what is actually the meaning now of focusing in bhakti? ये तो हो गया why part की क्यों करना चाहिए. So Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion, I think 1.1.35, he says in his purport, and it's very important, that we should be sincere, serious, and should not have ulterior motive. Sincerity बहुत जरूरी है. बस कर रहे हैं नहीं. We have to be sincere. Prabhupada is not saying that you should know 700 shlokas, 18,000 shlokas of SB. He's saying you be sincere and you be serious. बस a grave होना जरूरी. This is not a joke. This is not something which is like we are passing time. And ulterior motive, one of the very important terms, कि ulterior motive नहीं होना चाहिए. कि in the end, using Krishna, we are gratifying our senses. Of course, we are calling the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sukriti कुछ तो मिलती है, but it's again instant sense gratification we are looking at. So we should have purity in our purpose. Ulterior motive नहीं होना चाहिए, purity होना चाहिए. So whatever purpose we build, there has to be purity in it. So that's why Krishna consciousness is so beautiful. इसलिए दुनिया में प्रभु जी माता जी कुछ और भी हम पकड़े, उसमें कहीं ना कहीं में इम्प्योरिटी तो रहती है. इसलिए हम लोग 1 साल नहीं तो 2 साल नहीं तो 10 साल नहीं तो 20 साल के बाद जाके डिसअपॉइंटेड हो ही जाते हैं. बिकॉज एवरीथिंग हैज इम्प्योरिटी in this material world. Any relationship, any kind of a job, any kind of a dependency, anything has an impurity in it. सब क्षणिक भंगुर हैं, शाश्वत हैं. Everything has to go. So our intelligence says that we should invest in something which has purity. So that's where the purity in purpose is so important. And if our mind is in bhakti, then the taste in bhakti will also come. है ना? क्योंकि अगर हम प्रसादम खाते हैं इनिशियल स्टेज में, तो बिना टेस्ट के प्रसादम अच्छा नहीं लगता. करेला का प्रसादम अगर बन जाए और गुलाब जामुन का प्रसादम हो, देन वी ऑल रश टुवर्ड्स गुलाब जामुन, इवन दो दोनों ही ऑफर्ड है. प्रभु जी थोड़ा एक और गुलाब जामुन दे दीजिए. नहीं प्रभु जी एक ही है, एक के लिए. एंड देन यू फील डिसअपॉइंटेड, काश एक और मिल जाता. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी हैव टेस्ट इन गुलाब जामुन. प्रभु जी थोड़ा सा और करेला दे दीजिए. नहीं मांगते हैं दोबारा. क्यों? क्योंकि हमारे पास वो टेस्ट नहीं है करेला के लिए. So taste is very important. So when we focus our mind in bhakti, the taste gets generated. Very simple example again in material life. हम अपने बच्चों को अगर बोलते हैं कि बाहर जाके बेटा खेलो, when they play, do we have to like follow them कि वो खेल रहे हैं कि नहीं खेल रहे हैं? You know, are they dedicated to play or not? Very rarely. Few kids are exceptions, but actually they love to play and time बीत जाता है and they don't want to come back home also because they have taste. And as far as studies is concerned, you see 90% of kids, we have to be the forcing function to make them study because they don't have taste. They need discipline, rules, regulations, and then only they study. So taste is very important. But it's a very heavy word. If we get taste in bhakti, then automatically we will be in the raganuga mode. भक्ति के. अब मान लीजिए कि टेस्ट नहीं है, चलिए मानते हैं. कभी कभी एक जब चैंटिंग करते हैं थोड़ा सा अच्छा लगता है, एक हल्का सा कभी रियलाइजेशन आता है, लेकिन वो बड़ा मोमेंटरी होता है. हम सब रियलाइज किए होंगे, मोस्ट ऑफ अस, ऑफ कोर्स एलिवेटेड सोल्स आर देयर, कि बहुत मोमेंटरी सा एक टेस्ट आता है. लेकिन वो फिर जैसे ही हम लोग सोचते हैं टेस्ट आया, दैट मीन्स व्हाट, इट्स अ सॉर्ट ऑफ सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन. टेस्ट आया, देन चला जाता है. And then we are struggling, we are just chanting, it's a monotonous chanting, we are going. So if the taste is not there in bhakti, उस stage में, then what we should do? Then we should have faith in bhakti. है ना? We should have desire, faith and desire to do bhakti. अगर taste नहीं भी है. Another example we all of us see is that most of us have to take care of health. Health is wealth. So we see people getting early in the morning to run, to do exercise. So in winter time, when temperature is down, we are in the quilt, sleeping nicely, so cozy. And to get out of the quilt, get up, break our sleep and go for exercise, it's a stress. It's not like I have a taste in doing exercise. My taste is to sleep till 7, 8, 9. But I am actually breaking the barrier to go to do exercise. That means I have desire and I have faith that when I do that, my health will improve. And when we keep doing, automatically in our system it comes and the taste also comes. Obviously, another point is do the needful. There should not be a sort of fanatism coming in bhakti in the name of single-minded attention or focus. And just for example, some of us also go through this because we are very serious. We think that this bhakti is something which is very precious, which has come. So we start breaking a lot of connects around us so that our bhakti can improve. And it goes to the level of fanatism. For example, in Krishna conscious, we see that a lot of times newlywed couples come. Mataji or Prabhuji was seriously, when they were not married, they were doing Krishna consciousness and very nicely following the rules and regulations. And when they get married, One of the Prabhuji's Mataji are not that much into Krishna consciousness. And for example, husband is not interested in Krishna consciousness and Mataji is very much interested. It's a very standard problem we face in Kali Yuga. Not every couple is Krishna conscious couple. Here, doing 16 round, we are fortunate that our family, our house supports to do 16 round of chanting puja. In some house, seeing mala itself, husband gets irritated. Now what we do? Now, wife could say that, no, it's a rule. So I will, no matter you get irritated, you get jealous, you do this, I will do my chanting in front of you. That is the rule. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, and we continue. Now, of course, Krishna will be happy, but we have to be practical. Now, that day you might be able to do, but the person in front of you got so irritated that next day he or she did such an extreme step that your bhakti totally got destroyed. So, एक दिन की जिद ने हमारे आगे की सारी भक्ति का. So, why not be little intelligent? Do bhakti when husband is sleeping. Early morning we complete our japa, and when he wakes up, then that time in front of him I am not doing. So that is a practicality to it. So वो fanatism नहीं होना चाहिए कि no matter what I have to do. So we have to look at the surroundings. We have to have a balance. Even though consciousness is direct, action could be indirect. And it's a very nice line. In our congregation life, I am saying, even if the consciousness is direct, action could be indirect. Every time it cannot be like a direct action to Krishna consciousness. And see, sometimes when we have the desire to do Krishna consciousness, but we still adopted Grihastha Jivan. And that's a fact. Why? Because our senses are not in control. And for that, Grihastha Ashram, Grihastha Jivan came in. But that doesn't mean that we cannot do Krishna consciousness. Only brahmacharis can do. Prabhupada said that anybody and everybody can do. In fact, in one way, in Grihastha Ashram, it's a different set of challenges to do Krishna consciousness, because in the house with different mind, different people are there, and there could be so much of distraction where we have association of pure devotees. Every day we struggle. Great example in our Krishna's pastime we see of Vasudev. Remember when Akashvani happened and Kamsa was almost ready to kill Devki, then Vasudev quickly surrendered to Kamsa, saying that no, don't do this, I will. So he was always in Krishna consciousness, he was pure devotee, but he Desh, Kal, Patra, Samay, सब देखते हुए उन्होंने स्मार्टली उस वक्त सरेंडर कर दिया. If he wouldn't have done that, Kamsa would have killed Devki. Krishna wouldn't have come. So we can argue that how come he promised that I will give my kid to you till 7 kids. I promise. That looks from outside that अरे ये decision क्यों ले लिया? प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए. So in order to protect consciousness, he took that decision that time. So we should not be impractical. We should not be sahajiyas. We should not be impractical. We should not get stuck with this rule, this regulation. And we should be mindful that, again, it doesn't mean that in the name of practicality, we start justifying on everything and we get the enjoying propensity. दोनों तरफ से मारे जाएंगे. So Krishna conscious एक तलवार की धार. As we keep saying, it's simple yet not simple. It's a balance. So last but not the least, we should be chaste in following Krishna's lotus feet like gopis. Commitment होना जरूरी है. भले ये टेस्ट हो ना हो शुरू में. So obviously, how we can engage our mind in Krishna consciousness, and it's repetitive, but it works. Put in the service of Krishna. The book distribution month, all of us should be engaged in that. Wherever we find sangha of pure devotee, elevated devotee, we should run towards them, because that rubs off. Introspection, everyday introspection, we should do that. आज सुबह शुरू किए, रात खत्म हुई, आज का दिन कैसा हुआ? Did I degrade? Did I upgrade myself in Krishna consciousness? And perfection of Krishna consciousness lies in satisfaction. अगर satisfaction end of the day मिलता है, so that means हाँ, we are doing little better. So balance in Krishna consciousness is very important. When we get into the Raganuga Bhakti mode, then it's different, because in everything we do, we have taste for Krishna. है ना? सब जो भी करते हैं उसमें नेचुरल टेस्ट है. हम गुलाब जामुन खाते हैं, उसके लिए मुझे टेस्ट ढूंढना नहीं पड़ता है, वो नेचुरली मेरे को फील होता है. मैं अगर बच्चा हूं, मैं खेलता हूं, तो मुझे ढूंढना नहीं पड़ता है, मुझे मजे आ रहे हैं. कोई भी अगर मैं जॉब कर रहा हूँ, उसमें मेरा पैशन है, तो उसमें मुझे मजा आ रहा है. फील नहीं करने की जरूरत है, मेहनत नहीं करना है फील करने के लिए कि मजा आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा. मजा नेचुरली आ रहा है. जब कृष्णा कॉन्शियस में टेस्ट नेचुरली आने लगता है, then we don't have to endeavor. So sometimes that's how it is, but till then we have to follow rules, and we have to have a balance. Any kind of extremity or mocking or imitating acharyas literally at superficial level is disastrous to our consciousness. We should understand the mood. We should not try to mimic. हरिदास ठाकुर को हम अगर मिमिक करने लगे, then and as a family devotee, it will be very, very difficult situation. Prabhupada did the same thing. 1922, he got the instruction from his guru, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But when did he apply? Around 1968. And what he was doing, he was preparing, because he had family, he had children. He couldn't just leave everything and go. So he was preparing his consciousness. And look at the impact he generated. If he would have left in 1922 and tried it out in his young age, now again he's pure devotee, but the message was clear, that first of all, take care of family when you are taking care of Krishna consciousness. And then at his old age also, 10 years was good enough for all of us. So समय हम कितना गुजारते हैं वो important नहीं. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu भी, right, at early age he went from material world. He was not there till the time immemorial, but whatever time he had, that was enough for all of us as parampara to be created, and all of us are following now. So it's very important that we focus on bhakti and we keep beating our mind with jhadu. Not literally jhadu, but चप्पल से झाड़ू से मारते रहना चाहिए, ठोकते रहना चाहिए कि हम सही कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. And of course it's a struggle, but भक्तों के संग में ही आस है. So with that, I would like to conclude for today. Little more time to take. So thank you so much for your patience hearing. All goes to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all goes to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much for this wonderful morning Japa talk. I think Manish Prabhu, you have recorded, right? You can share it. I could not record. And we'll start our Japa Mala now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna